Once upon a time, in a magical land far, far away, there lived a joyful little girl named Lily. She had long, curly brown hair that flowed down her back and bright, sparkling blue eyes that shone like diamonds in the sunlight. She lived in a small village on the edge of a dense forest with her parents and her little brother, Jack. Lily loved nothing more than spending time in the forest, exploring its winding paths and hidden groves. She would often pack a basket full of goodies and head off on an adventure, with Jack following closely behind. One sunny morning, Lily woke up to the sound of birds chirping outside her window. She leapt out of bed, eager to start her day. She put on her favorite dress, grabbed her basket, and set off into the forest. As she walked, she noticed the trees seemed to be swaying in time to the music that filled the air. The birds were singing a happy tune, and the flowers were blooming in brilliant colors. Lily couldn't help but dance along to the music, twirling and skipping along the path. Suddenly, she heard a rustling in the bushes. She stopped and listened, but there was no sound. Curious, she tiptoed over to the bushes and peered inside. To her surprise, she saw a tiny fairy, no bigger than her hand, hiding behind the leaves. The fairy was dressed in a shimmering green dress and had delicate wings that fluttered as she moved. Lily gasped in amazement, hardly able to believe her eyes. The fairy looked up at Lily and smiled. "Hello there, little girl," she said. "What brings you to the forest today?" "I'm just out for an adventure," Lily said, grinning from ear to ear. "What are you doing here?" "I live in the forest," the fairy replied. "I help take care of the plants and animals and keep everything in balance." Lily was fascinated. She had never met a real fairy before, and she couldn't wait to learn more about her. "Can I come with you?" Lily asked, her eyes wide with excitement. The fairy smiled. "Of course you can," she said. "I would love to show you around." And with that, Lily and the fairy set off on an adventure through the forest. They explored hidden groves, climbed to the tops of tall trees, and waded through sparkling streams. Along the way, they met all sorts of creatures, from friendly rabbits to mischievous squirrels. The fairy taught Lily all about the different plants and animals in the forest and how they all work together to keep the ecosystem healthy and thriving. As the sun began to set, Lily realized it was time to head back home. She said goodbye to the fairy and promised to come back and visit again soon. When she got home, Lily couldn't stop talking about her adventure in the forest. She told her parents and Jack all about the fairy and the animals and plants she had seen. They listened with rapt attention, amazed by Lily's incredible adventure. From that day on, Lily visited the fairy in the forest every chance she got. She learned more and more about the magical world around her and felt grateful for every moment she spent in the forest. And as she drifted off to sleep each night, she dreamed of all the new adventures that awaited her in the magical land far, far away. Over time, Lily became more and more confident in her explorations of the forest. She discovered new paths and hidden clearings, made friends with all kinds of animals, and learned more about the magic that kept the forest thriving. One day, as she was exploring a new part of the forest, Lily came across a small, tangled thicket of bushes. She could hear a faint rustling coming from within, and her curiosity was piqued. She crept closer and peered inside. To her surprise, she saw a tiny, bedraggled bird huddled at the bottom of the thicket. Its feathers were ruffled, and it looked frightened and alone. Lily's heart went out to the little bird, and she knew she had to help. She carefully reached into the thicket and scooped up the bird in her hands. She could feel its little heart beating rapidly against her palm. Lily knew she had to act quickly if she wanted to save the bird's life. She rushed back to her village and found her father, who was a skilled birdwatcher and knew all about caring for injured birds. Together, they carefully examined the little bird and found that it had a broken wing. Lily's father quickly set to work, carefully splinting the bird's wing and wrapping it in a soft bandage. Over the next few days, Lily and her family took turns caring for the little bird, feeding it and making sure it was comfortable. Slowly but surely, the little bird began to heal. Its feathers grew back, and its wing began to mend. And as it grew stronger, Lily knew it was time to set it free. She carried the bird back to the forest and gently placed it on a branch. The bird looked up at her with its bright, grateful eyes, and Lily felt a surge of joy and happiness. As she watched the little bird take flight, Lily realized that the forest had given her so much more than she had ever expected. She had found friendship, adventure, and a deep appreciation for the natural world around her. From that day on, Lily continued to explore the forest, learning more and more about its secrets and its magic. And as she grew older, she carried the lessons she had learned with her always, sharing them with anyone who would listen. And though she never forgot the tiny bird that had changed her life forever, she knew that her adventures in the forest had only just begun. Good night. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.